Hello, and how are we doing? So, thanks a lot for joining us, guys. Got a really good stream planned out for tonight. These Monday night streams I'm actually quite enjoying. Just they're quite short, and we're able to get into the midweek fixtures with a good amount of detail. If you're here already, thanks a lot. I can see a few of you have been hanging out waiting for us, so thanks very much. The game week we've just finished, so we had some great guests again on the stream on Thursday. Went through picking the teams with us. Again, I must say, that's 2 weeks in a row. Mark, Blockchain, You'll Never Walk Alone. His advice has actually been invaluable to the Champion Europe entries that we've made in the end. So thanks a lot, Mark, for the contributions you've made. They've been very much appreciated. So thank you. Don't get me wrong. You know, all the contributions we've had have been absolutely amazing. But I have noticed the Champion Europes have done pretty well. Mike, good to see you, pal. I've done particularly well since we did this format with the live streams, and that's not been wasted on me. So yeah, quite thankful for that. Non-Cyclama, good to see you, Monfrere. So we'll just basically have a wee quick look back at how we finished. If you're following me on Twitter, which most of you guys probably are, you will have probably seen how we finished up. But we've got this nice little kind of, I wouldn't quite call it a flush as such, but a tier 3, a tier 2, a tier 1, a wee bit of FIFA. You know, it's a nice little run. The Champion Europe D3, we finished 9th. I think overnight. No. Just as the Leverkusen game was wrapping up, we were sitting 3rd. So I was getting a wee bit optimistic. We could have pulled a podium place out the bag. I did know, and I was aware that there was a lot more games to run, especially PSG and Lyon, and depending on how those kind of fixtures went, it might have toppled me, and it did a bit. We've rocked down to 9th, but hey, we've still got a tier 1 rare out of it, which is cool. And what else did we have last week? We had a 14th place in the All-Star D4, which was quite a surprise because the All-Star, the kind of main strategy we've had with it since the new iteration, the new format, has just been making sure we get over that 250 mark. That's been first and foremost, as well as using some of the spare bits from other regions where we're trying to make the lineups super strong. But the Columbus crew absolutely romped the final of the MLS Cup, and Harrison Athel and Lucas Zelarayan, what a captain choice we had this week. Romped home with the points very early on in the game week, and then Sakamoto did okay, and then we were kind of thinking, oh, Diatta, is he going to play? Is he going to do well? In the 3rd minute, he gets a goal, which was great. Akinfeev, I don't know what it is, but he just does not want to keep a clean sheet in his old age. He conceded 2, which was unfortunate. Could have done a little bit better if Akinfeev had held his weight, or carried his weight, I should say. And the other one was Champion Europe D4. We finished 32nd. And this was a really solid team. And again, if you remember the chat I was having with Mark, I was thinking about either, I really wanted this Champion Europe D4 to be all rewards. And I think if we'd done that, the Wirtz didn't score quite as many points as the SoRare. I don't know. They probably captained the Wirtz. We may have done a little bit better there, but I'm happy to have done this the way it had panned out, because we finished 9th in the end, which would have been cool. If we had the SoRare, maybe we would have, I don't know if I'd have put the SoRare in a D3, if I'm honest, but I would have put the Wurts in that D4. That was my original choice or plan. And we wouldn't have done quite as well. We might have just fallen out of those prizes. So that's worked out to our advantage, certainly. And then the other entries, a lot of them ran quite close. Challenger Europe, we just never really got goals in this team. But defensively, the goalkeeper and our reward from the previous game week we did the Monday stream on, we picked up a John Lucimi, which was lovely. But we just really lacked goals in this lineup, unfortunately. Champion Asia, I think it was much of the same. Saka, we had the DNP goalkeeper, that's what killed it. I thought he'd come back into the team after being, ineligible to play Gamba, but now Kosai Tani, I look at him and I'm thinking he's probably a gamble for the rest of the season, because if Shona and Belmer kind of know they're not going to be keeping him, they might start to be making their plans for next season now. So I kind of feel every Tani deployment now is a bit gambling. And you'll see this game week what my plans are for him. I'm kind of adjusting accordingly. I'm not going to be entering Champion Asia this week. I looked at I've been looking for about 3 weeks to get a Champion Asia goalkeeper, and I like a few of them, but I'm not really ready to be spending money on them now. I'm quite happy to wait till the off season. But then when I find myself actually in the hot seat, ready to pick my lineups, I'm regretting not having another one. So it is 100% between a rock and a hard place. Even if we had a goalkeeper score here, would have definitely been in amongst the prizes. I don't think there's any two ways about it. Ayase Ueda is in great form for us now. Mickey Yamin underperformed, and then the two guys in midfield, yeah, you expect more from Saka, but even shooting those high 40s, you can live with that if you have all five playing. And what was the other lineup? All-Star D3. It was a gamble. The whole lineup was a gamble. Some of the gambles paid off, some of them didn't. It could have very easily went another way. Imagine Depay get that goal for Leon, if it was a penalty or a free kick or something, and then if All Black doesn't score an own goal for a start, and if it's maybe 1-0, both those players' points gets a little bit tougher, a little bit higher, and all that is a kind of roll-on effect. And even Cuisance could have done a little bit better for us. He gets subbed off in the 55th minute or something. But that was really close. That was a gamble lineup. It could have paid off for us big time. And under 23 D4, by the time this was coming to the end, we only had Gabriel left in Lafont, and they're typically, Gabriel could have scored a lot more, but our big points players, Larson and Kamada, didn't really do their jobs this week, so it was kind of resting on the defensive players, just the way the fixtures kind of panned out throughout the weekend. They were the last two to run, and I wasn't holding my breath on it, and they didn't really do much to make me think I was wrong for feeling that way. But overall, happy game week. A lot of decent scores, and we managed to get that lovely. Don't get me wrong, the Welland Router and Akinfeev, if they were the other way around, I think in the All-Star D4, if we had a 60+ point goalkeeper in there, that would have been amazing. We would have probably won it. I haven't even checked the scores yet for the whole division, but would have done pretty well, I suspect. Overall, seems like a few more of these are here. Feel free to jump in a few games called off this week due to COVID. Oh, Non-Stick Llama, do share. Where are we talking about? 57 Almasonda DMP. Oh, sorry, I'm talking about ones from the game we've just had. If you're here, guys, just give us a wee hi in the live chat. Just let me know you're here. It means a lot. So we'll dive in and we'll have a look at the game week we've got coming up, okay? The one we're getting into now. So, my SoRare hasn't signed in just yet. 2 seconds. But yeah, look, let me know in the comment section, guys, how have you done this game week? I see one is 57 for something. Is that in the prizes? Anyone else stand out for you? Might have been a player, might have been a team. Anything else, just get in the comment section, the live chat, and let me know how's the game week been for you. What are you thinking about this game week coming up? I'm just loading the matches up and stuff, and then we'll switch onto this screen where we've got everything. So I've actually, on a little kind of side update, which is when I'm messing about with these screens, getting them ready, I actually managed to get all the Christmas presents out of here. They're all away in my mum's house up in the loft. So I've got my floor back, which means I can move the seat a wee bit further back, which means I can get actual comfortable. So I actually feel really comfy on the stream tonight, which is the St. Truden off against Beershot tomorrow. Law Dog looking out for us. I don't have anyone affected by that, so that's not too important for me. So anyway, yeah, seating position's a little bit different, but yeah, I'm just a lot more comfortable tonight. Mando, I dropped him, and I thought I lost his jetpack, but the jetpack's in the packet, so all good there, in case you're wondering. So I'm just going to take that comment away. Oh, sugar, why has it done that? So I've already got all these all kind of populated. So we'll run through the game. So Premier League wise, from a SoRare perspective, there's not too much going on. I don't have many West Ham cards myself, but West Ham are in good form, and at home at Palace is a game that if you have the right players for them, depending on how the rotation policy's been working and who's been, I'm not really up on West Ham at the moment, I must admit. That could be a good game for a few players. Man City, we've got Ferran Torres and Ruben Diaz. West Brom, I reckon both of them will probably play. Wolves at home at Chelsea, also I've got Fabio Silva. I actually plan on deploying the Fabio Silva this game week. We'll see how that pans out. Bruno Fernandes at Man U is always a good shout if you've got him, I suppose. And Carlos Vinicius is probably not going to play against Liverpool. And I don't know if there's any other ones. Gabriel Magalhaes will probably play against Southampton. And Cengiz Under, I actually think will play against Everton for Leicester, and I'm planning on deploying him also. In the Bundesliga, Bayern have got a tough game at Wolfsburg. I'm just saying tough because Wolfsburg typically are a tough team. I'm not actually, as I speak to you right now, too up on their current form. But Wolfsburg, guys like Max Arnold, Weghorst, they've got a strong kind of Europa League level kind of team. Hoffenheim and RB Leipzig will be one that I will probably try and watch if it's on the telly. 5:30 kickoff, or 7:30 kickoff. I don't know if that will be on BT, but I like Hoffenheim and Leipzig's always a good encounter. Very open teams. Leverkusen have got a favourable game away to Cologne. They're in very hot form now, much to my enjoyment. Lazio against Benevento. On paper is an easy game, but these little Italian clubs, so Benevento, Sassuolo, Spezia, you know, you can't really write them off, especially with the no fans thing, because they are little hardened Serie B teams. And you know, Italian, first and foremost, my knowledge of Serie B is very limited, to say the least, right? But from when I was a bit more focused on that part of the world, Serie B can be quite an attritional league. It's not too. It's basically it's kind of like the Championship in some ways, and what I mean by that, you would need to look at the league table and see how the playoffs and all that kind of pan out, and the amount of clubs that are involved, and the standing of some of the clubs. But it's actually a really decent second tier. So to get out of that, and then, you know, teams like Benevento, for example, who didn't get relegated last year, you can't write them off just because they're not a household name. It's an easy done mistake. Cagliari are probably one of the rogue teams for that. They held Inter in the last game week pretty well. But Cagliari have got lots of little players that could easily find themselves in clubs. Same with Bologna as well. There's a lot of clubs in Italy now that have lots of talismanic little players dotted about. Some of their abilities might be limited, but for this team that they're in, you know, you always fancy them to have a chance to make an impact on matches. So they're not always write-off teams, some of these Benevento types of the world. I digress. Championship, I know the Blackburn goalkeeper is a favourite of some of the friends of the channel, so hey ho. St Truden is off from, I know that's not how you say it, but that's what I call them, St Truden. And Beerschot, that is off, I'm told. Anderlecht and Oostend is a tough game. Oostend have been in decent form. Royal Antwerp and Zult, I don't know what to make of that either. Ghent and Waasland is where I'd be probably backing the goals, as well as Mechelen and Bruges. I actually fancied both those games to be packed full of goals. Anderlecht are on an increasing form, but which could be a good night for them at home. Oostend have been playing a kind of funny formation recently. And the La Liga is nothing really there for us, is there? El Clasico split in half, and they're playing the Basque country, basically. J League, again, there's nothing really much to play for. I know the third and fourth spots are still up for contention. I'm not too up as I speak to you right now on exactly who's involved in that, but I know it's not really many of my players. I've got my Gamba Saka right back, Takao, which I like. The Russian Premier League, Moscow, Dynamo Moscow, Lokomotiv Moscow, and CSKA. Where's Spartak? And Spartak, the four Moscow teams are away this game week. Spartak are away to Zenit, so Zenit do have the luxury of a home fixture. And Krasnodar, do we have a Krasnodar fixture? Yes, we do. They're at home at Ufa. So I'd actually expect that a good game from Krasnodar this week. Lokomotiv and Khimki, I'd probably expect Lokomotiv to do well there. Sochi can be quite. I had my Jairzinho recently been gifted away from the channel. Sochi can do well at home, and I wouldn't necessarily say that's a formality for Dynamo Moscow, but the high scoring players Dynamo Moscow have will probably score well against Sochi. So yeah, watch that space. Could be a good game if you've got Dynamo players involved. I do not. And otherwise, nothing else really jumps out at me. CSKA against Rostov. Rostov get battered, I think, by was it Rostov that Spartak battered in the last game week or so? So could be a good game for CSKA before the shutdown. League on, we're close to the end, guys. We're close to the end of the fixture run through. Anything eye-catching? So Lyon away to Dijon. It's all depend. The thing with Lyon, I beg your pardon, is that rotation policy. Rennes and Marseille should be a slobber knocker. That could go either way. It could be 0-0, or it could be 4 each. It could be 5-4. Anything can happen. PSG without Neymar. Is it the time for Mbappe to step up against Lorient? I would expect that to be a cricket score. I really would. Same with Lyon at home at Brest. I would expect that to be a high-scoring match also. And that is all the games we have. So there's actually a lot of attractive fixtures with the Serie A clubs, but Napoli, Inter, and Juve at home at Atalanta, they're games I will try and avoid. Roma Torino's no easy fixture either. I probably will try and avoid Italy this week if I'm being honest, but you may have a different perception and a different opinion to me, and these teams in games could easily swing in the other direction. I'm just going to clear my drafts out from before I came on the stream. I'll dive back into the live chat, see what you guys are thinking, and then we'll get picking some teams. We'll see how we're going. We'll start top to bottom. We'll start All-Star this game week and we'll work our way down. So people, we're here. Let me see. Are you with us? Wolfsburg are in form at present. BT Sports are showing. Mike, you're on it tonight, son. Expect Eo Tanaka to... Well, Eo Tanaka, I expected him to get rested, GBO21. I expected him to get rested like the last 2 game weeks, and he shot 100 and a 70 plus. Do you know my feeling with Eo Tanaka? Right, I'll let me give you a wee bit of Quinny research or whatever. Right, when the J League IPO first came out on SoRare data, on SoRare, and I was kind of flooding through the all the statistics I could get my hands on, players, clubs, performances this season, last season, that kind of thing. Eo Tanaka at present, until there's a new one, of course, right, is the only current J League Young Player of the Year that plays in the J League. Okay, so that means like the last 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't remember exactly the number, but none of them play in Japan anymore. So Eo Tanaka was the Young Player of the Year, not the season that we're about to leave out of, but the one before. And obviously, I think it was probably part down to the COVID and all that kind of stuff, why he didn't really probably get a move. But now the end of this season, the January window could be one. He could escape him. So I think they're going to play him. I think they're going to play him every game they can right until the end, and hope he gets more of those like 100 scores. He's making assists, getting involved in goal contributions, and try and jack his price up and try and get him sold to Europe in the summer. That's what I believe. And that is based on nothing other than my hunch of seeing no other Young Player of the Year is still in the league. They've all transferred out, and some of them are recognizable names, some of them aren't. Again, you just go on Wikipedia, check J League Young Player of the Year, and you'll get the list of winners, and you'll see for yourself that none of them are in the league anymore. As far as I could tell, anyway, I could be wrong. I don't think I am. So got a few of these here. Thanks for joining us. I heard from a Scouts fan of mine, Liverpool will be joining SoRare in January. Non-stick Llama's got the gossip. Love to see it. Love to see it. Oh, Connor Ross, how we doing, son? Very good, mate. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Magic, guys. It has been. It has been indeed. So I'm playing him again this game week. I'm going to start off with the global. Okay, so I'll walk you through it now. When I did my last global, as you've seen, global D4 last week, we've done pretty well. So I actually want to try and do that again because the global ones, as much as they are well more competitive, the rewards do have a higher jeopardy in terms of it could be something you don't fancy or isn't worth that much in the secondary market. The top end prizes are very appealing, and if I'm going into, unless there's 1,000 others, right, I can a decent bet is about 700 of them are not taking it too seriously. So you're only really up against probably 300 people's closest to strongest potential lineup. I don't know if that's the best way of explaining what I'm trying to say, but yeah. So I want to take it quite seriously again this week. Okay, so based on what I was talking about in our kind of analysis, I'm actually going to put Wellenreuter back into this squad here, into my global. Now, when I did my draft, I'd actually done everything upside down. So what I did was I started with the way we normally do it, and I built backwards, and then tried to go and fill in holes with strong players and whatever. But I've got my draft here, and I don't think I'm going to deviate from it too much, right? Because I actually think I'm going to do quite well with a few wildcard selections here, right? So we're going to put Gabriel in. Our midfielder, I talked about him in the kind of intro when we were going through the fixtures. But I'm actually going to pick Cengiz Under, and I'm going to tell you why. Because he's been playing Europa League only this season. That's Europa League done now. This would be the Europa League fixture in the calendar, in terms of rotation between weekend players and midweek players. And if you heard Brendan Rodgers post-match from Europa League match they just had, he scored and, he played well. And, having Brendan Rodgers been Celtic manager for like 2.5 seasons, I know, I can say I know. We'll see what happens, right? But I've got a feeling Cengiz Under is going to play. And I think he's going to play well. I think he will see himself as being able to break into that team. And the Europa League performances, because he's done pretty well overall in the Europa League, I think that's going to, in his mind, open the door to him in that Everton match. If he can make a big contribution, he can make a stake to play. Now, the striker, I might come back to this, okay? But I do actually have Fabio Silva in this. And the reason being, number one, is no one else is going to play him probably. I do fancy him to play him. I don't know if Wolves will beat Chelsea, to be perfectly honest with you, but I do expect this guy to score his first goal. He's at home, if he starts, that is, of course. They're at home. He's had a couple of games off the bench. He started the last game. He's building up. And yeah, I know they paid a lot of money for him, but he is still young. Yeah, I know settling in shouldn't be too hard because he's basically in a Portuguese outpost in Wolverhampton. But sometimes these things take a couple of games, get the rhythm going, get the shooting boots back on. And if he scores, that's all I really care about, So if we can get a goal out at Under and Silva, which I think is a bet, which I'm happy to make, then I'm quite confident with that. Gabriel will play, and Wellenreuter should still play also. His scores have been amazing. I really would be surprised if Company drops him and brings Van Crombrugge straight back in from when he returns from injury or whatever's going on with him. And yeah, so I'm really happy with that. Now, the spare player, because I'm not entering Asia this week, because Tani is a DMP potential, I'm actually putting in Mickey Yamain into this, and I think this could be an absolute monster of a global D4 entry. I really do. My captain in the first instance is Cengiz Under. I'm going to stick with that. I'm really happy with that team. Anything you guys think? Let me know. But yeah, that's my global. Because what I'm thinking first and foremost is I need to guarantee myself that 250 points. I think I'm going to get all of them to play, which is the first hurdle. So I think averaging 50 points between the 5 of them, should they all play, is achievable. And then I'm rolling the dice on a Fabio Silva goal, a Cengiz Under assist, Mickey Yamain scoring above 60. I'm kind of rolling the dice on those kind of things. Wellenreuter can just keep in form. I'm happy with the way he's been scoring. And Gabriel, if you look at his actual last 5 appearances, if he keeps in with those scores, again, I'm happy. So I think that's a really strong, and it doesn't really weaken me elsewhere, which is what I like about that team. So I'm using a wee bit of my knowledge of my cards, my players, because like I've talked about before on videos and stuff, like you really should get a feel. Is that All-Star D3? Yeah, we'll do All-Star D3 next. You should really get a feel for your cards, for the teams they're in, for the manager, for the selection process. You should really be developing that kind of intimate feel for how their season's progressing, where they stand. And if you really don't think you're gaining that, I would say number one, you should maybe think about how you allocate your time. You might be spending too much time on the market. You might be spending too much time on like Twitter. I've been doing a lot of that recently. I've had to cut myself off Twitter today and yesterday. I've been on it too much. It's just bad for your brain. You might be, I don't know, you might just not be doing enough. And if that's the case and you're happy with that, then cool. But you should start to feel, and I've felt this with every football game that I've ever engaged with, whether it be Football Manager, FIFA, Football Index, you name it, is you should start to get that kind of knowledge, that kind of feeling for this should be the game week that they play. And I'm happy to roll with that. And I say it doesn't weaken me elsewhere. Now, when I roll into my D3 here, now, I don't have my All Black and my Trippier, so I'm putting Handanovic in because global D3 is always, I think, my priority where I want to put my big money cards in a situation like this, because the rewards for the podium play, if I'm going to finish podium, I want to finish podium where there's the most to be gained from it, basically, because a podium score between all the divisions probably really isn't that different in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, I want to win as much as possible when I do win. And I'm just greedy like that, so sorry. Inter Milan have a good fixture against Napoli for the defensive players, because I do expect it to be a tight game and Napoli will have a goal. So I'm expecting Handanovic, and I'm going to put Hakimi alongside him. I fucking hope Hakimi starts, number one. That let him down in the last game. The last game week, I think it was. Maybe the last 2. He's not started. So I hope he starts, and Handanovic it's a game where he could score well. Now, with this being D3, I definitely need a wee bit of super rare power in here. And the most informed super rare I've got now quite easily is my boy Nidim Amiri. So I'm quite happy to rock with him as well. Just kind of builds that up. Now, we did quite well in the D3 before with just one super rare, and that's pretty much the way I think I'm going to be rocking with this one as well, because up front, I've only got Kluivert. I'm going to keep him for something else. You'll see what we're up to there. But again, I want to keep this lineup quite strong. Players that are almost certain to start and have a high chance of a goal contribution. And I'm going to be putting Memphis Depay in with this, okay? Now, our extra player, we can try and force a super rare in here somehow with like a Cuisance, a Kluivert. Do we have another one floating about? No, I don't think so. But I'm going to go with my man Arturo, right? Because they're away. Not because they're away, I beg your pardon, but because he's not played that well recently and he'll be due a wee goal or something. I feel it does kind of take a little bit of the high end aspect of this because he's not in line form wise with where like an Amiri is, or where Depay is, where Hakimi and it should be. But I say his form, I've had the card for a while, and I've got a good feel for it. Do you know what? He'll know himself. He's due to get a goal, get an assist, get a goal contribution of some description. And I'm going to captain Depay. And again, my reasoning always for the captaincy always comes down to who do I think will play the most minutes. Now, I don't think between Depay, Asaka, Hakimi, that there's a viable option who will play the longest. I think all three of them are liable to not play 90. So then it comes down to who would I rather have as a super rare right now in terms of this lineup. And I'd probably go with Depay just because he's on set pieces and stuff. So that rolls out our Don Boy. Good to see you, son. That rolls out our champion, our all-star D4 and D3. I reckon they're quite strong. I'm quite happy with them. Any thoughts on that, guys? Let me know. So when it comes to the next bunch of selections, we've got, where am I taking this to next? Is under 23s. Now, under 23s is a division in a region that I'm always really excited about because I've done quite well at it in the past. Now, I'm going to actually do my stronger under 23 lineup in the D4 this game week just because of the personnel that I have and the fixtures that I have. Okay, so that decision basically means I'm not playing Tani in this division. I'm going to play Lafont because again, Tani, I suspect it could be a rotation risk. Okay, our defender has to be Rayo Takao. Just love the guy. Expect him to play. Gamba still have something to play for, which means a lot to me. In midfield, we've got a lot of good choices this game week. Under 21 level, under 23 level, we have a lot of good choices. I don't actually look at any of these midfielders and think I shouldn't or I couldn't play him. The only one would maybe be Roca. I actually think Roca might play this game week. I don't know if I want to gamble on that, but I don't think I need to either, which is nice. But in this lineup, because we're going with all the strength in the D4, I'm going to put Dorsch in there up front. It's a wee bit of a toss of the coin between a few of these guys. Shappy did well the other week there, came off the bench and scored quite quickly. A lot of these guys are in decent form and playing well, likely to get good minutes, except for Badgie and Natate. They're just the only two down there that I don't really pay too much attention to at the moment. But I'm going to go with Larson in this one, okay, just because I want to, basically. And my fifth player is Ao Tanaka. So I think this is my strongest under 23s that I can get out. I'm going to captain him, Captain Ao. And yeah, I'm really happy with how strong that team is. And when I do the kind of global lineups, the All-Star D4, the All-Stars, the under 23s, I do like to have a mix of regions. And on the last stream, we did spend a good little bit of time chatting about, bulking up on teams if you're going to back them. I will be recording it very soon. Oh crap, what was I saying there? See, off topic, it happens to me all the time. Oh yeah, so as much as like backing a full team can pay dividends, and we've seen that firsthand this game week, backing Inter and Leverkusen carried us across the line, which was lovely. But with these ones that give you access to all the game regions, I like to get strong players from each game region and try and bulk them in because I just feel quite comfortable with that, and I think it's a good strategy to take because you do limit the chances then for one team or one set of circumstances to scupper you potentially. Now the under 23 D3 is where I'm gambling, right? So I'm gambling on Tani playing. In terms of at the back, Lusumi, I want to keep him for elsewhere. Kabori, I wouldn't be picking him in this fixture even if I thought he was going to play. He's been coming off the bench a lot recently. So the only choice I really have is Ominami, which I'm fine with. Okay, not a big loss to any other lineup if I didn't use him elsewhere rather than here. And I'm confident that he will play and he'll score me well if these other gambles pay off. This is where the super rares are going to come in. So we're going to drop Cuisance and Kluivert in here because they're both gambles again. Now, I was talking earlier on in the stream about knowing the players, knowing the cards and getting a feel for it, right? I actually am gambling on Mark Rocket in this lineup. I think actually we might revisit that. I was looking at my earlier draft and I think I do gamble on him. I'll come back to this if I've got a spare midfielder we want to put in. But with Kluivert, it's hard to judge Leipzig, it really is. But from my memories last season when Nkunku get into the team, is I reckon, and Schick for that matter, I reckon Kluivert will get a little spree of minutes now. I expect him to start. I don't know if he will or not. If he doesn't start, he'll almost certainly come off the bench. But he's in good form, and generally speaking, Leipzig and Nagelsmann will lean into that. And I expect that to continue. Cuisance has started and featured fairly frequently. I expect that to continue. Mark Roca, again, just with the way the rotations worked recently, and he had a suspension in there as well, which is kind of ski-whiffed it a little bit. But I would expect Mark Roca to come into that team. This is a very gambling lineup again, and as you see with the last gambling lineup we made, it was very close to actually maybe reaping some form of a reward. So Kosai Tani is probably the linchpin of this. If he plays, then I think this lineup might actually do something special. It really, really could. Wish us luck on that. We're quite a few of these here tonight, I think. Yeah, our numbers are doing okay. Well done, Danny Boys. Picked up some ether. And yeah, them. I've got Lafont, and when I bought Lafont, oh Jesus. When I bought my Lafont, I paid about half a coin for him, which in pounds terms is probably closer to like a third now. But it was a big, big purchase, and I remember making it thinking this guy is just going to be under 23s every week because he will play. He's well thought of if he gets a transfer, which won't happen like overnight, obviously, but at some point, then he's a good value buy for me. So they can be Dom Boy. Dom, I think you're German, if I'm not wrong in saying so. Ski whiffed it. Where did ski whiff come from? Did I say that earlier in the stream? I didn't actually know Goretzka went off with a wee niggle, but again, Bayern, Javi Martinez, he was meant to get released at the end of the season and they kept him on. They let Cuisance go on low. They wanted to keep Cuisance. Cuisance was adamant he wanted the minutes. So they're very thin in midfield. So if that's happened, Dom, and I also suspected a bit of rotation anyway. Also, Kimmich is out at the moment as well. He's been playing midfield. Alaba can play midfield, but he's been playing centre back a lot. Don't see that changing. So I reckon he'll be rotated in for relief purposes. And again, if you're giving us that extra wee bit of info, Dom, then lovely jubbly. Thank you very much for that. Buzzing. So where does it land us next? Challenger Europe. Now, Challenger Europe, I've not really been that excited about for a fair length of time. I've got very good cards in it, but I just never really seem to get good wins in it, to be honest with you. And, I can feel the side. We've got a really strong set of rewards. They kind of pick themselves, this team. Lasime. I'd probably, did I go Diatta in this one? I think I do. Yeah, Diatta and then Shappy. Is the way I'm lining up with this one. Good, strong teams. Not predominantly away. I was going to say predominantly at home, but a good bunch of players. And you look at that, and I can't really see past that in terms of how I can improve on it from what I have, and spending money on improving it is probably not. I think that's a really strong team. I'm really glad to get the Lasime. He's one of the first players I favorited when I joined the platform, so winning him as a reward was quite sweet. I was actually quite happy with that. Saves me shelling the money out for an upgrade on Kabore, or Delac has been rested the last 2 games. Yeah, so he's kind of coming out now for a wee bit of a rest. I did talk about it in a stream before. They did seem to play constantly, and a rest was due at some point. In terms of a captain, I'm kind of flipping a coin between the Belgian 3 here. Who would you captain in this team? Let me know. Is Yari injured? I'll look into that now. Yari's out of the squad. I think Musiala could start, by the way. Genk game is cancelled? Since when? Guys, you are educating me here no end. Yeah, Genk is off. When did that happen? Yari has a knock. Oh, shit. My MVP. Dan Humans. Nice, well done. Oh. That's news to me. I've not been on Twitter too much today. Like I said earlier in the stream, guys, I'm trying to avoid Twitter, otherwise it's just giving me brain damage. But okay, well, we've got Gel Patil, so he can switch in for that. And John Lucimi, then we're gonna have to relegate him, eh? We've only just fucking picked him up. If Gent, oh shit, is that dude? No, is Genk is off, not Gent. Right, okay, is it Genk? Yep, out till January. Who, Yari? Oh no, was it? How did I miss that? Oh, right. Top man, Philly boy, top man. Genk is definitely off. Okay, shit. What defender do we have? Let's see if I used anyone else elsewhere that I might want to call into action here. Planetchek and Van Hoesten, they're injured as well. Sardella, I don't see him playing. Oh, crap. What about Richie? Do we think he'll come back in for this game? He has not played the last 2 matches. I think he's the only choice I've got. Because I'm not gambling on that Kabori. Yeah, that's where we go with then. I'm going to have to captain Diatta. Okay, that team is taking a wee bit of a pounding, but thanks a lot, guys, for catching me in the DNPs. I owe you one. So thanks very much for that. Let me see. So we'll rock into Champion Europe. Now, Champion Europe is a bit more fun because the potential rewards are much greater. You know, if you're going to be finishing podium in the Champion Europe, you're getting pretty excited about the rewards you can win. Goalkeeper-wise, now, for the D4, I'm probably just going to drop the Paul Lopez in here. I don't know if he's going to play again. He did play in the league at the weekend. I'm told Morante was injured. But I'm happy to gamble on him again, to be honest with you. Now, at the back, it's a tough decision. Gianluca Mancini is out injured at the moment. I don't know when he's coming back. So it's between my Danilo and my Manolas. I'm going to put the Manolas in the D4, keep the Danilo for the D3. Who's our goalkeeper we have, in fact? Navas. I was thinking for a second, what the goalkeeper have I got? Because I know All Black's not playing. In midfield, right. So we've got some tough choices here because we do have any super rares for up level? Oh, what did I build the D4 on? The D3 on? So we'll do this first because I'm thinking strongest lineup should go out. Oh, I don't know how I want to do that. I think I was just going to try and bank on big rares hitting form. I don't know if I want to do that. It's just so risky. Yeah. I'm going to go D4 again. Yeah. I'm going to go D4, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double back, and I'm going to strengthen up some lineups with my excess. Okay, so Navas and goals. I'm not going to take the risk on Paul Lopez this game week. Danilo at the back, that's cool. Wirtz in midfield, no problem. Bailey up front, no problem. And then I think I'm not going to go Alario just yet. I know he came off the bench and scored. I think he'll do that again. I think we'll keep him on the bench for another game week and try and keep him for the following weekend, perhaps, because they want to give Schick the minutes. They've spent a lot of money on him, although I don't rate him that highly, it must be said. And Alario, yeah, let's just bring him off the bench for the last 20 minutes if we need him. If not, keep him for the weekend, I think will be the strategy. So the last spot we've got to go into this, guys, this is where I need the help, okay? So our final spot, I'm probably not going to use Alario this game week. Ferran Torres, do we think he plays against West Brom? Because I think if he does, he'll score really high. Douglas Costa, could he rotate in? Wes McKennie, look at the form he's been on, eh? He's getting slated in the last game week by, who was it? Must be Mark, saying like, oh, he's not that good a player. And I was telling him, he's the new Marquisio, box-to-box midfielder, gets the odd goal, gets the odd assist. And his form has been stellar. So I might actually throw him in because I like him a lot. He's in good form, and I would expect him to stay in that midfield because I think Pirlo keeps the strongest team possible to play Atalanta. And a player like Weston McKennie doesn't actually need to be involved in a goal or whatever to score a decent amount because he'll be involved in tackles, interceptions, passes, whatever. Joe David, it's a gamble, isn't it? Zielinski's a gamble also. Do we go Wes McKennie? Wes McKennie's probably the safest pick we've got there. And he's on good form. There's a lot of hype about him as well. Some players live off that. I think we go for Wes McKennie. I think I might have talked myself into it. I like Bruno Gomes as well. I think he could, he come off the bench to see the PSG game out. Does he maybe start against Brest? And Zielinski, he's been playing a lot, he's been doing well. Midfield battle against Inter could help him score well. it must be said. Don't think Costa's in for rotation this week. Don Boy, no problem. I was kind of looking at it and see when I won the see when I won the Costa, I was thinking, do I want this guy? He's really going to play. He has been featuring a lot, and the thing you've got to remember with the Bayern players is Sané, Gnabry, and Coman are all. There's a good big comment from Dom. I'll put that on the screen. I love Musiala as well, but I do think. What was my point there? Sorry. Coin toss. Yeah, Dan, you could be right. Oh, Jesus, what was my point again? I've totally blah myself right out of it. Sorry, guys. If there's one you might remind me what the hell I was talking about, give me a nudge. Captain, it's kind of hard to look past Bailey at the moment, isn't it? He's in such good form. I'd back him to score again against Cologne. And for that reason, I'd happily captain him. And yeah, so Pep Roulette, guys. GBO 21. I don't know if you are doing that to maybe take me out of the running. Torres could do well, you know. He really could. That McKennie is just so solid. I know he's going to play. I just don't know how well he's going to score. But again, why do I have the Ferran Torres if I'm not going to use him? That's kind of the feeling I have in these. With some of these gambling players I've got, and they're only gambling in terms of things like Pep Roulette, rotation, that kind of thing. I do look at him sometimes and I think, why the fuck have I got him if I'm not going to play him? Grow a pair of balls, fucking put him in the team and live and die by the decision. Quite fortunate this game week that I've got enough under 23s to make that work. Who was my extra? We went Cuisance. Oh, it was Roca, wasn't it? We put Roca in on the fly. Do you know what? Why don't we put... Let's do this, right? But I reckon Roca is actually a safer bet than Ferran Torres. I don't know if I might actually change that at all. Can we strengthen somewhere else with some of the excess? So what I'm going to do is quickly click into my D2 and have a look at who's extra. So we've got Paul Lopez at the back. We don't have any defenders, really. Kim Young-won, I would happily... No, I wouldn't. He didn't play the last match. He's in line for a transfer somewhere. I forget where. No, defence is too shoddy. Midfield, who do we have to upgrade elsewhere? Nobody really, I suppose. It's just the Ferran Torres and probably the Guimaraes. I reckon he will play. And Alario will feature from the bench. Joe David, I'm not. It doesn't look like I've got a space for Joe David anywhere, so that probably means you should pick Joe David because he's probably going to score a hat trick now. To be honest with you, yeah, I can't really improve on that any kind of. And what was the under 23s again? Oh, this is the gambling line. So no, I'm going to put the Torres in here, to be honest with you, and because I think he'd be a better captain choice than Roca because he's more likely to have a goal contribution. So I'm probably going to do that, and then my spare Roca. There's nowhere too gambling left to put him, really, is there? So that's, you know, I'm now tempted just to stick this in as just a fancy training team, and if it wins something, it wins something. And do you know what? I think I might just do that. And then yeah, if it wins something, it wins something. Screw it, it's a training match. And if I get super lucky and it pulled something, then even better. But I just don't have a place for any of these guys in terms of like. I wouldn't like put this into a D4 setup and upgrade a slightly stronger version of this into a D3 situation because I felt it before with not having that super rare. We'll go with David, so I reckon you'll get the most minutes, I suppose. Yeah, we'll just throw that as a fancy training of sorts. So that's our lineups, guys, for game week 1 to 5. Again, super happy. Torres will likely rotate in for Mahrez. Yeah, I kind of think that as well. You'll probably have enough peaky players, to be fair. Also, oh, sorry, guys, I'm trying to keep up with you. Oh, yeah, Dom. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, so when I got the Costa, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to keep him or sell him or whatever, but Sané, Gnabry, and Coman are all major injury prone. So you guys always get a chance to play as soon as one of them, you know, like you're talking about with Goretzka, to pick up a wee knock, a wee strain. Then Costa could be a starter. You know, he's very likely to feature in a lot of games. I won't gamble on him this game week, Dom, because I trust you're the man with the ear to the pavement, you know, and I'll lean on you for that. So that's cool, man. But yeah, we're all quite liking the Torres rotation, and I don't know if these are setting me up. I hope not. Dan, I totally agree with you. I think Ferran Torres, when I've watched him, I think I've seen him one time when he was up front, and he did really, really well. There's a few of you here, guys, so we're going to have a wee skip through. What I'll do is I'll have a wee skip back through the teams again with these, and what I'll do is I'll pop this up here. There we go, sorted. And yeah, just give me a wee rundown, guys. What do you think? What do you think is my strongest lineup that I've got out this game week? What is your strongest lineup? What division are you competing in? If you don't want to share details or whatever, where are your hopes this game week? I'm quite hopeful. This could be a mega dark horse in the Global All-Star D4. Really strong players front to back, and I'm gambling on them playing, but it's my feeling that they will play, so I don't really feel this has many gambles within it, even though it might appear so from the outside, and I hope I'm right. The Global All-Star D3 is, I think, my strongest team. Yeah, I'm quite happy to stand by that. The Osaka, can we upgrade him with anyone that was spare? I don't think so, really. Who did we have in that other lineup? Surely Roca, wasn't it? That was, yeah. I'm not too bothered about that. I'm quite happy with Saka that will play. Yeah, watch this. Saka will be the one that ruins it. So I said his name too many times. I've jinxed it. That's what tends to happen. Under 23s, the D4s where we're going really strong. And again, I think this is probably amongst my strongest possible under 23 lineup. And I'm really excited to see how this runs. Especially my Japanese contingent there. I'm quite happy with both of them. Really strong scorers, really exciting players. The D3, so if you didn't catch this earlier on in the stream, just to get us up to speed, these are where all my gambles are. Oh, why am I got Torres in here? Oh yeah, we've put Torres in here ahead of, no. I'm pretty sure I just got sold on Torres. And was it ahead of Roca? Was it ahead of Roca? That's the gambling one, isn't it? So who's in this? Would I play Torres ahead of McKennie? Oh, I don't think I would, because no, I don't think I would. We'll keep Torres over there with the gambles, because I reckon this is all my gambles. My gamble is Kositani playing, because I just don't see him coming back into the team now that it's close to end of season. I think they'll try and keep their team as strong as possible and prepare for next season. He is only on loan, so I'm gambling that he plays. Ominami should play. He's not a gamble. Ferran Torres, we all suspect he will play. And then Cuisance and Kluivert, I've got a hunch they're going to stay in their team. So this is quite... potentially could be a really sneaky strong lineup, or could be an absolute flop. And if it does, not really too bothered for this game week. And then the challenger again. I'm just with we had a COVID call off that you guys caught me with and an injury, so not really that strong a lineup anymore. But we have strong potential in it. Richie and Gel, if they both play, they'll score me solid. And then if Crepin and Shappy can get in amongst the goals, and as long as I can see it doesn't get down to the 17 levels, that could actually score pretty well. Sorted. And then for the Champion Europe, again, D4 is where we're putting all the strength. We're going with the guys that I know will start, and I say no in the air quotes, as much as you can possibly know, and all have the ability to score me pretty well. The UV fixture is tough. I would try and avoid it if I had the ability to, but both those players, even if it had been a tough game, I think a tough game in real world football results in a high scoring game in a SoRare world for them, so I don't mind that. And then this is just fancy training in Champion Europe D3. Don't expect much from this, but at least then they'll get points and they'll rank up a bit. So cool. And then again, if we got super lucky, then we got super lucky. We've had a recent addition to the gallery as well, so I'll give you a wee peek at what I'm rocking now. So we've made a few. So the power hour on Sunday last night went really well. They were doing the unique for Wirtz. I think it went for was it like 16? Oh, what was the Wirtz? I think the Wirtz went for like 8 grand or something, and the Alfonso Davies went for like 16 grand or something like that. The Paulinho, I seen him come up as a super rare. I also seen he was 1 of 10, and I thought, oh, I know, because I bought, if you've been on the channel for a while, you'll know that I bought a Paulinho in a power hour when I first started on the platform, and I bought him not knowing he was injured, just getting excited, seeing him at a really cheap price and thinking, oh, I'm snapping that. So I've been following him really intently, waiting for his return, and the super rare came up last night, and I thought I'm going for it, because I've had that many auctions. I've had that many auctions that have passed me by. Cost of training today, peeps. What cost are you talking about, Llama? Kim's going back to the K-League. Got you. I've had auctions pass me by, and you know you regret it when you wake up the next day. Like, I missed out on 2 auctions, and well, I tell you who they were. One of them was Lucas Nemeka, right? When the new faces one came on, I missed out on him, and I was really gutted that I missed out on him. I still think about it because I really want him. And the other one was a Leon Goretzka. I missed out on both of them, and I still think about them. I'm like, I could have got that for this. I should have done it at that time. I should have got on it. And when this Paulinho came up, I thought, I know he's not far away from coming back. I kind of at the time suspected a January return to the squad. And I thought, I'm just going to get it. As long as it doesn't go over what my limit is, I'm happy to acquire him as cheap as I can get him. And we went out and we picked him up. And then today on Leverkusen Twitter, who's rocking up to training with a bag of balls? The bold, the beautiful Paulinho. So that could be a swift, profitable transaction. Not that I'm going to sell him, but in terms of buying him, and then straight away his value increases because he's back in the team and he's scoring goals and doing amazing. And the reason I was quite happy to go big on him in terms of buying that as a super rare, even though I've already got the rare, is because I have been watching more Leverkusen because of the success of my other cards, Wirtz, Amiri, Bailey. And I can tell you that now, in my opinion, Diaby is a pretender. He's not that good. He's okay. And his spot in the team is definitely up for grabs if this guy comes back in at full fitness and recaptures the form we've seen him having right before his injury. I think it was like earlier. He had an injury, came back, and you know he's had a few injuries, which is a wee bit of a problem. But if he gets that form back, then that's his spot in the team, in my opinion. I don't think actually. I thought there was a wee bit more to it than that. We bought some Diego Costa, a super rare and a rare. They were going super cheap. He's out there now with some deep vein fibrosis or something, but I'm hoping he goes to China. That could be good. We've got Nakamura. I think you guys have probably seen most of this stuff already, actually. But the collection, the gallery, the portfolio, whatever, is really strong. They're really healthy. I think I do have a couple of cards for sale, just some loose ends. And again, like none of my gallery, I don't look at anyone and think, oh, he's not good enough, or why did I buy him? They're all pretty good players. Even the rewards I've won, some of the ones that I wouldn't call highly desirable, like the Park Tae-jun, maybe the Timo Weah, the Will Trapp, I'll still use them at some point. The Kim Young-won, I'll use them at some point. So, Rob Felsher, really happy with the way the gallery's panned out. And what I'm really looking forward to now is I really want to be strengthening my forward positions. When I kind of flick through my filter, it does look like I've got a lot of forwards there, but when I actually examine them, and you can do this quite easily just by looking at like this, because the filter, you've not got it on this tab, do you? The leagues? No, you've not got it on this one. But even if I do it by the leagues here, you can do it on like the transfer market, so it's like the leagues they play in the SO5. So you can see quite easily how many are there for Champion Europe, Challenge Europe, that kind of thing. I thought that was here. I would like them to do that, because that would be nice also. But when I have a look, so let's say Bundesliga, Jupiter League, so all the European ones, let's get them all clicked in. So I've 19 out of my 30, so over half, I suppose, of my forwards are European based, okay? Badgie and Paulinho, well, Badgie's youth prospect isn't playing too much. Paulinho's out injured. Timo Weah and Shappy in and out of the team. Alario and David, yeah, first teamers. Bailey, yeah, first teamer. Costa, and then, yeah, rotation, non-league. Larson, good guy. Ugbo, new addition, should be a good guy. Diego Costa again. Fabio Silva, you all know about him. Crepin, good guy. Paulinho, you know about him. Memphis, good guy. And then Kluivert. So how many good guys have I really, really got? Depay, Diatta, Larson, Bailey. And then I don't even know if I'd put David and Alario in the good guy category. So I've got 4 good guys and I've got 2 okay guys out of how many were there? 19. So the rest of them are injured or prospects for the future. So I need a wee bit more firepower for the here and now, and I'll be making some moves towards that. And that's the kind of analysis I always recommend you do on your gallery. Have a wee peek and see how you're getting on. Sorry, I thought that was something else there. Ralph Farman, yeah, it looks like he's getting back in the team now, from what I've seen on other conversations here, there, and elsewhere. And he was going pretty cheap. I think with Schalke is buying their goalkeeper. Do you really want to? And Ostik Lama, yes, there was a domestic draft today, so I think it was like homegrown players were getting drafted out and that kind of thing. They've also, if you follow the MLS guys on Twitter, they'll keep you up to date pretty well. And the way the MLS outlet, it's actually been revamped quite a few times since I was like intimately following the MLS a few seasons ago, and then longer than that since then. But it generally does always kind of work in phases. They'll get all the slots allocated, like New York City, for example, I've just traded for another international slot, so I think they might be getting a new DP, designated player, come in, hopefully. Wouldn't it be amazing if it was Diego Costa? I would love that. The last designated player striker that NYC had was David Villa. Who did they sign him from? Atletico Madrid. Who knows? Let's see what happens. Different type of player, of course, in a different environment, but hey ho, hey ho. So yeah, NYC, watch out who they're signing. It looks like they're beginning our DNP, and it probably would need to be a striker. Castellanos was okay. Heber, whatever you want to call him, the Brazilian guy, is mince. But yeah, there's lots of little drafts happening, and the important thing with the drafts, I would say, not like Lamb, I'm really glad you kind of said that, is see when you pick up, if you're catching any of this stuff as it's current events, you'll get a wee bit of buzz on the Twitter from some of the fan groups, and you'll find out who, even though this guy was picked number 3, they really rate him as a up-and-coming right-back, goalkeeper, forward, whatever he is. You add those guys to your favourites, and then when the new season of MLS comes on, if you know the guys that were in the super draft, the domestic draft, or anything like that, the extended draft, whatever, that you heard a good write-up about, and you can get them quite cheap, because there will be, see when the MLS comes back, there will be a flood of players, and see because they all kind of look the same now, it's hard to differentiate at a glance who plays for who, compared to like the J League, for example. It's very colourful, you can see all the shirts and whatnot. Then what you find in MLS is a lot of those tertiary players, like youth prospects or bench warmers, these kind of guys, a lot of them, even with a high reputation, can get lost in the auction field because they all kind of look the same in terms of how the card is presented. Tarime, I was looking at Lawdog, to be honest with you, because I can't remember why. It might be he plays quite a lot. I think he's Iranian or something, isn't he? I think it was his age that put me off, which might sound stupid because I don't think he's even in his 30s. But he caught my eye also, and he could be a very good buy, definitely. And the super draft is in January, is it? No, it's like Lama sorted. They also do a thing as well called the Combine. So they do this thing. I don't know if they'll do it this year, but I actually tried to go to it as a spectator, like a coach, one season. But they do this thing. It's called, it gets sponsored, but last time I think it was called the Adidas Combine, maybe the Audi Combine or something. But it's basically where they get like top academy prospects and they put them all together, and that's how they work out, right, this guy should be this guy should go in the super draft and all that kind of stuff. So whenever they do the Combine, listen out for that word when you hear the MLS guys talking, the Combine, because you'll get a wee sneaky peek. Like, for example, when I was first getting really, really deep in MLS, like when NYC came on, you heard like the Combine, like, oh, Jack Harrison was a big name that came out of it, and he ended up going to New York City, and obviously he's in the Premier League now, that kind of thing. So a big player coming out of the Combine, you can maybe catch them. There won't be like a designated player transfer that will be widely reported or whatever. Yeah, the season starts back in March. Well, dog, you are right there. So again, yeah, great Twitter feeds to be following now in terms of, little cheeky trades you can pick up yourself, nice little flips, and nice little positions you can get into with 4 other people, maybe flip for a profit, or maybe use them as a differentiator in your actual lineups as such. Magic. Well, guys, I think that is going to be pretty much all from me. I'm going to swap back on to last week's screen. If I can find it. Nope, it's not coming on for some reason. 2 seconds. So, just to finish up, guys, if you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, boom, there we go, sorted. Close that off, and then let's switcheroo. Magic. So, in the game week last week, are you in the Data Cup? Need to set that line up too. Phil, I am not actually in the Data Cup on this occasion. I just could not see the whole link into your account thing. I just didn't do it. And every time I went to do it, it said do it. And I'd already signed in. And I know it'd be mega easy if I just took my time. But every time I went to do it, I was like, oh, I better do it now. And I was in a mad rush. And I was like, oh, I'll do it in a minute. And then some things would happen. And then Leeds are wee. You are right there. So Phil, sorry, I'm not in the Data Cup, but there's a tweet that went out from them today. Go and check it out. There'll be another competition running quite soon, from the sounds of it. Depending on what we vote. I voted for SO11, It's up to you what you want to do. But I'll be getting involved in the next one 100 million %. Law Dog, you are bang right. Joe Scally is going to be leaving NYC, I think it is he's at. And he is heading for Mönchengladbach in the summer. A good card to buy. You know, why not? If you want to. I tried to go pick him up quite cheap. But again, I look at it and I don't know, because Gladbach are doing so well. So if they want to sign him, great sign. But how quickly till he actually gets in the team, I'm not in too much of a rush to sign him personally. But you can get him cheap, and if he was to start making appearances off the bench, and then you've got a really good card for the season after next, then he could be a really good buy. But yeah, good spot, Law Dog, on that one. Philly boy, you're the same as me. So Ed, mind you guys. So again, the game week that's just rolling out, the rewards we'll be picking up tomorrow. From the looks of it, we've got a tier 3, a tier 2, a tier 1, and a little bit of ether. So done pretty well this game week, and let's hope that we can surpass that on this game week. Thanks all for joining me, guys. I've had a blast. What do you think of the teams? Let me know in the comment section. And yeah, I'll kind of leave you to it. Good luck for this game week. I hope you absolutely kill it. Hope you smash it. I'm pretty excited myself, and I look forward to seeing you. Is there anything else? I will be in more action. You'll see quite a lot of me this week. I'm going to be recording the People's Portfolio Season 3, Episode 2, maybe later tonight, if not tomorrow. I've also got another Football Index video to go out. I've also got 2 SoRare videos drafted, not finished yet, sorry. And I've got the other stream that we'll be doing on Thursday. And there's something else I will be involved in. I don't think it's been announced yet, so I'm not going to announce that. But keep your Twitter notifications on. There's going to be a big something or other on this week, and it should be good fun. Thanks a lot, guys. Hope you've enjoyed yourself, and I will see you Twitter, Discord, chats, all these places